Morning fam, and welcome to a new week and a brand new video. Coming at you is a quick look at how I'm getting on so far at the halfway point of Double Game Week 29 and my team selection ahead of Blank Game Week 30. If you're loving the content, then please do leave a comment below. How many players do you guys have in Game Week 30 and are you free hitting? Please drop a like. Let's get to 60 likes on this video. That would be absolutely amazing. Lastly, if you're new to the channel, then please do subscribe. It really helps me out. Okay, let's get after this. Ramsdale with a clean sheet, happy with that, getting 3 saves and Baps 2 for a beautiful 9 points towards my team total. My defence has done mostly good so far. Robertson came in for James as my one free transfer this game week. Before the injury, I had to decide whether to sell Rudiger or James, but the James injury made it much easier for me. Robbo has kept a clean sheet so far, hoping he gets the second game. I would love an attack in return from him. Obviously, with other fixtures around, there's a little bit of nervousness around some rotation, but hopefully he gets it. Davies came in on my wild card last game week, a cheap way into the Spurs defence, I thought. A week later, and of course I'd have been on Doherty like everyone else. However, Davies did score, but it was ruled offside. Just my luck. Surviving Doherty in another game this week and in Game Week 30 is worrying me, as he's 50% owned around my rank. That's absolute death if he does anything. Trent kept a clean sheet along with Robbo for 6 points, happy days, and I decided to keep Rudiger, but I probably should have attacked the game week more and gone with Tierney in here for -4. Rudiger kept a clean sheet for 5 points on account of the yellow card, but Tierney matched that clean sheet with 1 game to come and plays next game week. Those that have attacked the game weeks the last few weeks and taken hits to get players in for, a double and then, a good fixture afterwards have really been rewarded, and that's something I need to take on board in the coming weeks. My midfield is doing okay currently. Saka couldn't grab anything against Leicester, unfortunately. This was the match I was hoping for a little something in. 3 points in the bank from his minutes and clean sheet. Got a little knock there and got subbed, but hopefully just rested for Liverpool midweek. Rafinha finally did something. He finally did something, and it sounded like he should have had loads more points than what he actually got, but he did outscore Coutinho this week, which is all I could have asked, with his assist for 5 points, so I'm incredibly grateful for that. Salah was looking like a blank, but he got that penalty and then tucked it away, getting 18 points for a goal, clean sheet and 1 bonus point. Worryingly, he was taken off early with a knock. He did walk off okay though, so there's hope for the next game, but it may come around too quickly for him. He has played a lot of games recently, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. Kulu grabbing me an assist against Man United. A tad grateful given how that game went. I'm a big fan of this guy, as you all know. Hope he just continues doing his thing. Up front, I agonised over playing Jimenez or Brozier. Turns out I started the right one. Not because either did anything though, but just because Jimenez started where Brozier didn't. Was hoping for a little more than just the 2 points from Jimenez, I have to be honest. Kane tucked away a penalty against United. I'll take the 6 points and hope that Brighton brings more chances for more points from him. All of that means I'm on 66 points so far, giving me a nice green arrow at the halfway point to 75,126. It's a little jump up, but lots of players to try and avoid this second time around, with Lacazette, Doherty, Cancelo and Tierney all capable of upsetting my rank. I could have done better. For a second week in a row, I have benched a ridiculous amount of points. I could have bench boosted, but I thought Kilmer may have lost his place in the team, and Ramsey's form last double game week was really poor, so I ended up deciding not to go with it, and absolute pain, because I have 22 points on my bench with Dubravka still to have a second game, a difference that could now see me, if not in the top 50k, but very, very near it. Ouch. which I'm not sure I'm going to get a third opportunity to bench boost with 20 plus points, I have to admit, which is a little worrying. With that, let's move on to how I look for Blank Game Week 30, and this is how I'm lining up. I currently have 9 players if, and that's a big if, all of my players play. Kilman did do great on the weekend, but does that mean he gets to keep his place? I'm just not sure. I'm also not sure after conceding 3 goals if Davies is at risk of losing his place, but hopefully not. I don't hate this team for a Blank Game Week lineup, but I am missing a few key players in terms of percentage owned. Coutinho is still 24% owned, so he could hurt if he does anything at my rank. Also, Lacazette is highly owned around me, I think something like 20% as well, so that's a little bit worrying. Also, I don't have double Arsenal or double Wolves defence, so this needs to be considered in terms of what I can do to try and help minimise the risk of players hurting my rank in this Blank Game Week. Coutinho is possibly harder to get in, as it means either upgrading Ramsey or selling Salah on the hokey cokey due to a shortage of midfielder places. I've done the hokey cokey once this season with Salah already. Not sure I want to do it again. I would only lose 0.1, but unless this injury for Salah is more serious than we first thought, I'm probably siding against it. I will need some funds if I want Coutinho, so Robbo to White and Ramsey to Coutinho could be the way to go, and it looks like this, giving me 10 players for the Blank Game Week. Not bad. I just wonder if it's a bit of a sideways move. Just not sure on the whole Ramsey versus Coutinho thing now. It's a bit of a headache. I didn't think Ramsey could cover Coutinho. However, he did get a goal last game week where Coutinho didn't. A lot of people saying it's all to do with the positions they're playing in, depending on what teams they're against. Yeah, it's a little concerning because Arsenal obviously are a lot more defensive now, so that may mean that Ramsey may have to sit back and also defend whilst letting Coutinho go forward. However, if they're losing the game, then they may allow Ramsey to, push and go after the game, which may give him more of an opportunity. Yeah, look, it's all dependent on how long-term I want Aston Villa in my team, and at the moment, I'm not really sure about that, so that's why I'm a little kind of unsure whether to switch Ramsey to Coutinho at this point. Getting Lacazette in for Brozier looks like this. Cash, of course, could be Cody or Sace for the double Wolves defence, or even a punt on Amati or Johnson. The Amati or Johnson route would allow, obviously, to not double up on the same teams. Bit of a decision on if to lose Robertson or Rudiger for this. I think with Rudiger, I would need to get a 4.4 million defender or less, so I'd be looking at more your likes of Amati or Johnson, as opposed to selling Robertson and getting your likes of Cash or Cody or Sace. So yeah, a little bit of thinking to do on that one. This could give me 11 players, again just based on everyone actually starting and these players making it through the midweek fixtures. My option 3 looks like this, and it's to ignore Coutinho and Lacazette completely at my peril and try something a bit left field, a little bit bat shizzle, getting Tony in for the possibly injured Brozier and Tierney or White in for Rudiger or Robertson. This should also hopefully give me 11 potential game week players in Blank Game Week 30. All of these 3 potential transfer options are for a -4, and just based on the options of 2 and 3 potentially giving me 11 game week players, I'm more tempted by one of them. That's not to say Coutinho doesn't terrify me, because he absolutely does. However, options 2 and 3 give me a potential of 3 Arsenal players going forward, and being on 3 Arsenal seems quite sensible at the moment. Those that are seem to be reaping the rewards of it, and the fact that they're chasing for top 4 and their amount of fixtures to come just feels like it's the right direction to go in. Whatever I do this game week, I need to be considering potentially down the line my bench boost. So I can't go downgrading Tony to something incredibly cheap that doesn't play but might get a chance to play in Game Week 30, like WILDCARD, for instance, at this point, because it just doesn't make any real sense, because I will want to use my bench boost at some point down the line. I don't want to pull my whole squad around, you know, the bench boost, as we've seen this week. Sometimes they look like great options, sometimes they don't. So it's not going to be my be all and end all on what transfers I make this week, but I definitely want to have the coming game weeks in mind when I make these transfers. I don't really want it to be just for one game week. Please do let me know what you guys think in the comments below though. I'd love to hear what you guys would do. Which option would you go for? My captaincy will be on Kane, barring any unforeseeables. I'd love to go with Jimmy against Leeds, but my baubles just aren't big enough. West Ham conceded a goal against Villa, so you'd like to think Spurs can find a way to do that too. Plus, I just happen to think that Kane will be highly captained, and I don't really want to go against the grain at this point. Moving on to the trending transfers, and interestingly enough, just after me talking about him, Tony is the most transferred in forward at this point with over 88,000 purchases. Saka is the biggest midfielder transfer in, even despite that potential little niggle, with over 57,000 buys. Cash coming in for a lot of people for the blank game week, probably, as I was saying earlier, as not to potentially double up on Arsenal and Wolves and give themselves another option just in case. Worryingly, Coutinho is still coming in for people. 39,000 purchases already this early on in the week. And my guy Kulusevski getting some love. I mean, I can't believe I say that about a Spurs player, but the guy is just brilliant. So I can't knock him, apart from the fact that he plays from Spurs, really. But yeah, you know, that was my daddy's team, so I don't hate them. Bowen making his way out. Of course, that injury is just a fast way to get a player that does play in blank game week 30 in. Cancelo now, I've seen that he's back in training, so this is an interesting one. Of course, doesn't play in game week 30, but I don't know, long-term hold maybe. For a lot of people, one of the best players in the game. To see him 42,000+ sales already. I'm wondering if this one is going to bite us in the bum a bit further down the line, if I'm honest. Dennis Watford, Watford. I mean, they scored a few on the weekend, but Dennis was nowhere to be seen, so that's completely understandable. It looks very much like a Dennis switch to Tony at this point for a lot of people, especially as Dennis doesn't play in game week 30. Salah, wow, Salah out. I mean, this could be potentially free hits. I don't think it is though, which means people have seen the injury, and I think they're taking the opportunity to get off of Salah and bring in your likes of, you know, Saka's, Coutinho's and Kulusevski's. But I don't know, I think I would probably be waiting for that second game that Liverpool have before really deciding whether or not I wanted to sell Salah on. He's such a big asset. And Jota, yeah, I mean, his game time just seems to be too all over the place at the moment with Luis Diaz now in the team. There's a lot of competition in that Liverpool team right now, so I can completely understand why people would want to be getting rid of Jota, especially at his price point. But that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really means a lot to me. And please do check out my sponsors of this video, fantasyfootballfix.com. I hope the next round of fixtures left of Game Week 29 go fantastic for you. And of course, I'm hoping for lots of green arrows for you guys and for me in Game Week 30. Until next time, Nymfria out.